Yo, what is good, everybody? It is Tuesday night. It is time for your favorite show and mine, Flyers Talk A2D. You know what we're talking tonight if you've seen the previews. We got live reactions, plus we're going to talk a little post game. We got a little goaltender talk going on in the second half of the show as well. We'll talk a little Alexei Kolosov, who made his NHL debut the other night. As always, we appreciate everybody chiming in. So definitely jump in the chat, be a part of the show. Best way to do that is hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, hitting that share button if you have that option, depending on where you're talking or where you're chiming in from. And it's time to talk some puck. So let's get to it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of Flyers Talk A2D right here on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Satsuti along with the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
Benny, you wild as fuck, bro.
And the broken one, Rob Povia.
Want to ask the fam, my nephew Mike got in a bad motorcycle accident yesterday. He's on the mend right now. He's okay. He's in the hospital, but thoughts and prayers, please, people.
Absolutely. And Mr. Blue Shirt, Mr. Broadway, Mr. Switzerland, Big Bad Brad Ryer. And today's show is brought to you by the Doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, over at Specialized Physical Therapy. If you got any aches and pains and it's causing you a ton of issues, go see the doc. Make an appointment at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Head to either Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey. He's got great staff in both locations. And after you're done with a couple of sessions with them, you'll feel as good as new and you won't have to worry about it. So go to specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Go hit up the doc and get rid of those aches and pains. And the poll question for today, the Flyers defense has been their Achilles heel early on this season. Agree or disagree? Can't say that it has been perfect, but is it the biggest detriment to the Flyers currently right now, or is it something else? Gentlemen, where do you stand on this? Do you agree with this poll, or do you disagree?
I agree with the poll wholeheartedly. I definitely think that this defense has not been good. They've shown flashes, and I mean, I want to sit there and say that, you know, I saw good things out of Jamie Drysdale early, and now he's kind of regressing a little bit. But you got to keep in mind he's 22 years old. He's still got – I mean, the defense for the most part is still relatively young. I don't think some of these pairings are perfect by any means, but I think for guys like Drysdale, guys like Emil Andre, who I think has looked good the last couple games, I thought he's made a couple really good plays tonight as well. Assisting on the Tyson Forster goal, great vision on that pass. They have to figure out a way to play in their zone and stop giving up terrible turnovers. It just seems like they're rushing just to hit the transition, hit the guy on the rush. They have to stop doing that. Take the time. If the offense is going to sit back and let you have that time, take it. There's no need to rush. Get themselves in better positions. It's just they just don't look good on defense. Good news is there's still 72 games left to go. So, I mean, everybody, they just need to be better. It's just flat out. They've not been good enough. They just need to be better. They need to find that consistency.
Did anyone notice that Brad has a visitor?
Puppy!
But anyway,
I thought maybe you guys would miss that. Oh my god.
Nick Strycher says poor Torts looks like he's tired of the boneheaded plays and penalties. And let's see.
You knew what he signed up for.
Yeah, Camel Toe Harris 69 says them Golden Knights looking good. They are. They just got done just mollywhopping the San Jose Sharks not that long ago, so they're looking deadly right now. Let's see. Richie MC saying, did they lose again? No. The game is still going on. About 13-18 left in the third period. They just got called for a too many men on the ice penalty. 1-0 Flyers. Albeit, though, the Bruins are pressing hard, obviously, on this power play, hoping to try and even it up. Let's see.
There's that optimism, Richie. There's that optimism we love.
No, it is not over yet. And let's see here. Yeah, for saying, you say they beat the Sharks? Holy shit. Yeah, I know. That's not saying much. Apparently, though, it's impossible in Utah because they had a total collapse against them, which was kind of funny to watch, actually. More things change, the more they stay the same.
You know, they are NHL teams. They are going to eventually win a game.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, it's funny. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They may not look like the Coyotes, but they still have some of their habits. But
Yes,
anyway. Anyway, so I'll give my opinion on the poll here. I would agree. I think the Flyers defense has been very troublesome, to say the least. Not that the goaltending has been perfect. There have been issues there. But it does start with your defense. If your defense is giving up golden opportunities day in and day out and just not playing up to snuff, it's going to leave your goalie out on an island. And yeah, sure, like I said, there have been some issues with goaltending. But again, the defense has not exactly endeared themselves to us this season so far. It's been a rough go of it for them. So I will agree to this poll. Robbie, how do you feel about it, brother?
Hey, I'm gonna make it 3 for 3. I despite Risto stepping up strong with Cam York going down to injury, I have to agree to the poll as well. York's loss is tough, but other guys have been making key mistakes in identifying their matchup assignments, being caught out of position, and the appropriate time to pinch on the power play. Especially, they've been caught flat-footed on a few odd man rushes because of it. Also, failure to get the puck from the red line has caused too many man penalties already on the young season. If the D can shoot the puck deep in the offensive zone, it really benefits the forecheck to create scoring chances, and thus the best defense is a great offense, keeping it out of your zone. We've seen a lot of time in zone, especially in the last 5 minutes of the second period, as Boston was really making a push to tie up the game before the second ended. But overall, despite all these things that I've been noticing, tonight against a really tough team, they have played much better. They've worked on these things above. Lots of great back-checking from the forwards tonight as well. So it takes a team effort to provide defense, not just your blue liners, but they got to eliminate the mistakes, the things that Torts is getting grayer about, but he will. And he agrees.
Yeah. Oh.
I will say the one bright spot that the defense has been having so far is the penalty kill. The penalty kill, they're doing what they do. I think they're 2 for 2 tonight at least. Obviously they're 100%. I don't remember how many opportunities they've had, but dude, the penalty kill, they shut teams down. I don't know why they can't do a 5-on-5. They always seem to find themselves out of position. It just makes no sense to me.
Right.
So before we go to Brad, I'm just going to grab a couple of quick comments here because Pris did pay $10 to say fuck the Blues. Gotcha.
Always appreciate you, my brother.
Always, never a tough thing to say. And then let's see here. Mike saying is Fedotov a confirmed bust? I don't know if you would consider that a bust right now, but I definitely think he's getting closer to it. He's not exactly made the best case for himself here, but I would say if you looked at it like a needle, the needle is tipping towards bust, and it's getting close. It hasn't reached it yet, but it's getting there. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's where my mind's at currently.
I mean, you make a valid point there, but also too, we're talking about if the defense is allowing the angles for the goaltender, and this is a goaltender that's trying to, make that adjustment later in his career too. So he has to eliminate a lot more bad habits that maybe Koloslov hasn't developed at his younger age. The defense is the goaltender's best friend, and they're going to make this job easier, right? We've seen some good play from Fedotov in between. We've seen good play now from Koloslov too, which we'll talk about later in the show. I think as a unit together, they got to come. They got to come together.
Ooh, we got some rough stuff going on in the game here. It looks like Emil Andre was getting ready to drop the gloves with somebody.
Yeah, he
Right.
was he looking for a
And
dust
that's an interesting move too, because Zamula was a guy that I was really thinking about when I was breaking down what's been wrong with this defense, and we saw him, take a seat, for Emil Andre now that's gotten brought up due to the Cam York injury. So gives that kid, who did show really good promise again in training camp and in preseason games. So gives him an opportunity to just, throw his hat in the ring, change it up.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. Benny's saying, I know it's cliche, but let's simplify the game. Get the pucks on net, low and hard to create those second chance opportunities. Get guys to the net. Right now, we have very little to the net front presence. And I will say that is a good comment there. But one other thing too that I think Benny's to kind of piggyback off of what he just said tonight, the Flyers did score from a goal from Tyson Forster, and it was a simple play. It was a pass right to the slot and a straight shot right in at Korpisalo, and it got through his 5-hole. May not be the prettiest goal in the world. It's simple as hell, but you know what? It worked. It got the puck in the back of the net.
Look at the Wild game. That's all they did.
Right. They got ugly goals.
I mean, Sean Couturier had 2 goals that were off of rebounds. Like, you don't necessarily have to snipe the puck every time. Shoot for a rebound. They got second and third chances. They put up 7 goals in that game.
You got to swarm the net. That's the key, guys.
Second and third chances.
See, I think their offense will come around. I would be worried about their defense, though.
So you would agree to the poll?
I would agree to the poll. Yeah, I mean, their offense hasn't been great this year, but that game against the Wild, they showed that they could score. And then they came back late against Montreal and got a couple. That was for whatever reason, they really did not look engaged against Montreal. I mean, I think they just got basically dragged down to their level. I think the Flyers, I mean, if you look at them against Boston tonight, it seems like they go to the level of who their competition is. They play great against Vancouver. Okay. They look good against Edmonton for a while. And then, unfortunately, Edmonton kicked it into gear. But, for the most part, against best competition, they played well. It's against the garbage teams. They just, for whatever reason, they seem to go down to their level. And they can pull this thing out tonight and win this game. That'd be a huge win for this team and for their confidence. I mean,
especially the way they've started the year.
Team. They're a Stanley Cup contender. A win in their rink, and they're very tough at home to beat. A win in their rink would go a long way to getting this team back on the beam again.
Right. Well, I mean, Brad, you make a good point about, raising to higher competition and lowering to. At first, I'm thinking it's because it's the back-to-back. It's a young team, and they're always going to struggle there. But now tonight is the 3rd game in 4 days against, the top competition that you've seen in these past 4 days, and they're rising to the occasion. So there could be something to that.
I will say they showed the replay of what started that fight, and Flyers just had a great chance. But anyway, Poitras basically took Emil Andre to the ice, and Andre just punched him right in the face. I loved it. I love it.
Both young kids, but Emil Andre, you want to last in this league, you're going to have to be able to hold your own. And I like the fact that he stood up and got back into his face and gave him a little bit more of what he was getting. So, got to love it.
Right. And let's see here. see if some of the other comments here. Swoopy saying Flyer struggles are not on Torts. Torts isn't to blame at all. Already seeing people say to fire him. People are crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Philadelphia fan base.
no, I know it's the same people who would say, "Oh, trade away everybody." You know, they'll trade away Farabee, trade away Frost, trade away Mitchkov. That's what they're saying right now. You know.
Nah,
They told you this was going to happen, and you're surprised they said that would expect a step back, like we talked about last week, to take 2 steps forward. And I mean, the past 2 games, what I'm concerned about is the shots on goal they're letting up. And, through 2 periods on Saturday, they had 6 shots on goal. That's not going to cut it. Nope. They turned it around in that 3rd period, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a little bit. Well, I'm seeing a little bit of what we saw in that 2nd period. A lot of spending time in their zone and letting Boston kind of time manage a little bit in the offensive zone. That's not exactly how you want to beat this team, but the upside to the Flyers right now is they play Boston well. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but they always seem to play Boston well. Yeah. It's always a close game. It's always competitive. It's always entertaining. And more times than not, Boston winds up losing to the Flyers. So the building blocks here. I think you take what you got in Minnesota, scrap that Montreal game back-to-back. Really tough situation to be in, especially against a fast Montreal Canadiens team. If you can take 2 out of 3, you're in good shape.
And let's see here. We got Heather Edwards saying, I'm glad Andre didn't get a penalty for that shit, which he did not. So that was good news. And it's always nice to see a young pup sticking up for himself. And I don't think we've seen Heather before. So please, Heather, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
She already did.
Oh, she already did? Well, thank you very much. And she also...
You gotta love what he's bringing. You gotta love what he's bringing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
She also said they better lose to us. Well, if 6:27 on the clock I got, 1-0 still for the Flyers. Shots are very much a huge gap between them, 14-22 in favor of
they haven't given up
Boston.
a shot in about 5-6 minutes now. The Flyers, ever since that power play, I don't think Boston's had a shot.
Which, again, give a lot of credit to tonight. The defense has actually been stepping up to the plate here and really been doing a great job of keeping things under control in the zone. And anything that's gotten by Urson's let up a couple of rebounds that were a little scary, and the Bruins
just
almost
like that
committed
one?
Yeah, just like
that one.
Yeah, just like that one.
Oh,
and
there's another good chance there.
Yeah, but luckily the defense has bailed them out. So tonight the defense has been on it. We just would like to see this more consistently from them. That would be nice.
That's key.
Yeah.
That's key. It's what a lot of people are talking about with the Eagles, right? They want to see a little more consistency with them. That's all I'm asking for from the Flyers. Like, regardless of what the record is at the end of the year, regardless of what the score is at the end of each game, all I'm asking for is some consistency. Now, I get it. It's October. You can miss the playoffs because of games in October. You can make the playoffs because of games in October. But what the point I'm kind of getting at, show me that consistency. Show me that effort every night. And I'm happy.
Right. I mean, it shouldn't and this is something that I'm going to say right now that really it's kind of pissed me off over this weekend. And it's something that I even pulled it out of the win against Minnesota. And you guys know, because we were having an off-mic conversation, that we low-key should not have won against Minnesota because we didn't play a full 60 minutes. They deserved that win a hell of a lot more than we did. We just got a few lucky bounces to go our way. And I'll be the first one to tell you right now, it shouldn't have taken that from the puck getting a couple lucky bounces, you giving up and blowing a 3-goal lead and a 2-goal lead, actually a 2-goal lead at one point. It shouldn't take that. It shouldn't take that for you guys to wake up and start playing the game and start giving me that full 60-minute effort. Should not have taken that. Against Montreal, they didn't show any life until the very end of the game in the 3rd period. It's like, shouldn't have taken you until then. You should have been ready to go from the moment that face-off started. Why did you wait? Why are you wasting time? Why is it in the second period you just stop caring? Like, what's going on here, guys? That was really bugging me all weekend because it's like you guys have opportunities to put yourselves in better position to succeed. Minnesota, a perfect example. And you made it more complicated than it had to be, to where you had to score 7 goals just to win the game. It's like, why are you doing this? You started up 2-0. Sure, it's a hard lead to hold, but you guys should have made a better effort than that. Because second period, they were terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. This is terrible.
So that's the one thing that's been bugging me. It's like, it shouldn't take you guys to wake up by having a game almost getting taken away from you. It shouldn't. You guys should be ready to go from the moment that puck drops.
I mean, can we give some kind of love to Urson tonight? Like, geez Louise, he's been standing on his head, getting some puck luck to go his way. But, man, has he been tracking the puck well, putting himself in good position to make not just the first, but the second and third saves. And, I mean, I know a lot of people will not agree with me when I say this, in saying that I do think that he is a starter. I don't think he's a franchise guy, but I think he's a starter in the NHL.
Just made a beauty just now.
Yeah. The tip of the cap to the guy. Like,
right now.
He's been solid for the Flyers since game 1. And again, I know we're still very early in the season.
But you could say the same too about Boston's netminder. Only his 3rd game of the season, the backup Corpusalo making 2 10-bell saves in that first period. This game could easily be 3-0 right now, Flyers.
Absolutely. And that's definitely true. Me Metal Mike saying Urson is solid. And let's see what else here. John Harvey was saying up here at the top, he says, agree to the poll, and Torts is not the guy for Philadelphia. Interesting. I know you asked him to elaborate on that, so
look at the record since he became coach. Dude, it's a rebuilding team. What's the expectation here?
We could have had any coach in here and it would have been bad. Like, I mean, it was terrible under Vigneault. It was terrible before. The only coach that I think the Flyers should have given a chance to that they didn't was Scott Gordon, because they put him as interim and they didn't give him a full season to try out. And the Flyers actually did pretty good under him, ironically enough. But that's the past. You can't really go back and change those. But
the measuring stick right now is development, not wins and losses. You want to see this team continuously make strides forward. And in the meantime, if you win some games, that's great too. You saw this team almost make the playoffs last year. Probably should have made the playoffs last year, but I don't know. I mean, I'm in between whether Torch is that bridge guy that gets this team educated into where they need to be, right? And then ultimately when they need to be. But these guys play hard for him, right? And you want to see the payoff too. And the players want to see the payoff for their coach.
Right.
Yeah. Even Torch has come out and said, I'm not worried about wins and losses. That's not the purpose of what we're doing here right now. I mean, again, what Robbie said earlier, what we've been saying since the offseason, there was an expectation from the front office to take a step back. What are we talking about here? Like, this is what I know Flyers fans are not used to this, but this is what a rebuild looks like. This is what a rebuild looks like. You're going to lose a bunch of games. You're going to flirt with the playoffs. You're going to have making trades that you may or may not want to move. You're going to have to say, at some point, there's probably going to be a trade involving Farabee. For those who don't want to say goodbye to Farabee, it's going to happen at some point. You have to. You got to free up the cap space. This is what rebuilding looks like. It's not about wins and losses right now. It's about player development, getting the young guys accustomed to the game, developed properly, and ready to go in about a 2 or 3 year span.
Big chance here. And no, he didn't score. Come on, Coots. Bury that sucker.
Yes, Nick, it's about culture. It's not about winning and losing right now.
But
1,000% agree with you, dude.
1,000%. They need to play. They need these young guys to play together too. I mean, just you'll take a look at some of the top teams in the league. Okay, their lines have been playing together for years. and the top players have been playing together for years, so, and they all know where each other are. Right now you got a lot of young guys who are learning each other. Not only are they learning the game, but they're also learning to play with each other, and it takes time for that to happen. I mean, it doesn't just happen immediately. I mean, you have to figure out who plays well with who, and the chemistry and everything else before you can really put everybody together. You don't know that going into the season when you got so many young players.
And it's not just that; it's October. It's evaluation. It's still evaluation time for a lot of these teams. Like,
Absolutely.
Look at Nashville. You really think they're going to be at the bottom of the standings the entire year with the roster they have? No.
Well, if they don't, they'll have a new coach very soon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. That can't continue. But yeah, look at Colorado.
Mm-hmm. They're not going to be there all year either. This is, especially for teams like the Flyers, this is heavy evaluation time. That's why you're seeing all the line combos. What was it, like 20 of them in like 4 games or something like that? That's why you're seeing all this, because it's evaluations. It's seeing who plays well together, who has a little bit of a spark together. It's things to build off of. It's not always just going to be, okay, go out, win, go out, do this. Like, there's so many other aspects going on right now in the month of October for a team that's rebuilding than it is going to be for a team that's competing right now. Then you're going to sit there and give the lines time to actually form that chemistry. The Flyers aren't worried about that right now, and they shouldn't be. Get the young guys developed. Get them going.
So let's see here. What else we got?
Ooh, empty net in Boston.
Yep, empty net time, 154 left to go. John saying, hey, gentlemen, I don't understand what everyone wants. I just want solid hockey, better defense, a solid offseason, money available for free agency, maybe a trade or two, and maybe some young picks. That's a nice big old Christmas list right there. Unfortunately, I don't think Santa or the hockey gods like to deliver on all those promises, sadly. Most of the time, you're lucky if you get at least 1 or 2 of those things, if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Well, I think a couple of those things on John's wish list there is, yeah, I think it's good. Like, solid hockey. I think the Flyers overall this year are going to play solid hockey. There's going to be money available for free agency next year. I just don't think the free agency pool is going to be that great.
But there should be a solid offseason.
Yes.
I think that this offseason was pretty low key because of the fact that they didn't really have any money on the books. Most of their contracts were still very much intact. Yeah. So with a little bit more money freed up in free agency this year, I don't think they're going to make any big splashes, but maybe they might see if there's a couple of players to plug in to work with some young players or what have you. That's most likely what they're going to be looking at. Now, let's see here. John saying that's it. Development and playing the game is about winning. Rebuild, then don't complain about more and about losing. Smile after the losses because it's a rebuild. Well, nobody wants to lose, but you understand why you're losing because they haven't developed yet or because your team is still trying to nail down the foundation. No one wants to enjoy the losing. No one ever enjoys it. No. But you just accept it. You just accept the fact that it is what it is. You
take it on the chin. The wins will come. Mm-hmm. The wins will come because you got to look at you look at the analytics. I mean, they're 10th in the league on the power play, 8th in the league in penalty kill. So they've maintained that penalty kill prowess while improving the power play. We've seen Mitchkov be just as good as advertised, if not better. Right, getting good performances from Tyson Forster, who potted the Flyers goal tonight, which was one of the first great entries I saw from that Frost Tippett Forster line, which might be coming together as well. That entry, it resulted in a shot that narrowly missed, got another opportunity for Forster right between the circles at the hashes.
Oh, I love this. Ooh. Beat out the icing call.
Does he get it?
And
did he get it?
No, he couldn't get it home. Oh,
but yeah,
so close.
But yeah, I mean, it's about you got to create a winning culture in your locker room before you can create a winning culture on the ice. Now, it sounds stupid and it sounds kind of probably cliche, right? but it's the truth. Teams that play together or teams that grow together in the locker room create that bond in the locker room, create a bond on the ice. It's a connection. You got to grow. I mean, we have to realize that this Flyers team is still relatively young. I heard Jim Jackson. I didn't take a look to see who it was yet.
I think it was Farabee.
Oh, I just
Nice.
brought him up earlier. Let's go, Farabee, Beezer. But you create that culture in the locker room. You create that culture on the ice. It creates winning. And the fact that I saw John's comments. Who said that Torts doesn't care about winning? We've said it's not about winning. Torts very much cares about winning. That's how he's always been. But he also understands his role as a rebuilding head coach and what he has to do. He would rather win. Absolutely. We all would rather see the Flyers win.
You have to.
What's happening right now?
You
But
have
you know
to
what is happening right now?
Okay.
Hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, turning on those notifications on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at. You know, you'll never miss us if you turn on those notifications, hit that subscribe. You like the Eagles? We got plenty of Eagles talk. You like the Phillies? We got plenty of Phillies talk. Even though there's not much going on in baseball right now, except for the Yankees beating the Dodgers in the World Series. Like wrestling, we got wrestling on Friday night. We got something for everybody here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Come debate with us. It's agree to disagree. We'll talk hockey. We might get heated. Johnny, we love you. We appreciate you chiming in. We're going to break bread afterwards, my brother. All right? So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Don't miss anything A2G's got to offer.
So, couple of things. This is the first win in Boston that the Flyers have had during the regular season since 2011. And this is the first shutout win that the Flyers have had in Boston since 2006. To put that into perspective, Peter Forsberg was the captain of the Flyers in 2006.
That team was crap too. I was there every game. This team is not crap. I was just taking on the persona of some of our fellow brethren here in Philadelphia that are judging it by wins and losses.
Yeah, like even Johnny just dropped the comment. He said we said he doesn't get no. We said it's not about winning. Wins and losses right now do not matter with the rebuilding team. That's what we're saying. It's not. Nobody said that he does not care. We're saying it does not matter what the record is. Wins and losses does not matter in a rebuild. Player development, that's what all that matters. Getting guys like Forster to be that consistent 25, 30 goal scorer that he's projected to be. Getting Brink to be in that same position. Getting Farabee to finally get 100% healthy and get back on his role and have a build off of what he did last year, having career highs in goals and points. That's what it's about. That's what matters right now, not wins and losses.
The record may not necessarily matter, but to the players, the score does. That's what really they want to be going in the right direction. They want to win, but like everything, the organization understands, the coach, the players, they know that it takes time to develop these things. They want to win, but they know that it's going to be a challenge and they're not going to get it every night, but they're going to try for it. They're going to try as hard as they can. It's just sometimes you get the wins and when to rebuild, most of the time you don't. It's just how it comes down to.
And the Ducks won today too. Let's go. Happy day.
Sometimes you eat the bar and sometimes the bar eats you. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, let's see.
Sometimes you're the windshield. Sometimes you're the bug.
Sometimes you're the fly. Yes, sometimes you are.
That's it. You guys know I'm Tuesday. I'm cooked.
Heather saying shutout. Hell yeah, boys.
Number
yes.
2 for him this year, I believe.
Yeah, I
what
think.
Yankee fans are we talking about?
Wait.
The Yankee. You know what?
The one who was grabbing the ball out of.
What about the ones that stole a home run from Gleyber Torres in L.A.? I don't hear you talking about that, Mr. Swoop. Let's talk about that too.
All right.
Because that was a win for the Yankees. That would have been a home run. It would have bounced off the top of the fence.
I would agree. I would
agree.
agree.
They cost us the game. They're fans. So You know.
Yeah, Ralphie, it was a great fucking win tonight. That's right.
Anyway,
It was.
Where Ralphie chiming in from? Ralphie, where you at?
I think
On WhatsApp.
Oh, Ralphie, you better get your ass in here, bro.
why don't you just drop it on the comments, brother? Took the time to put it in the WhatsApp.
I'm gonna yell at him. I'm gonna yell at him
Meanwhile,
real quick.
Me Metal Mike said, "What did the Penguins say to the hockey puck? Don't punch me in the face. I'm already ugly."
oh god.
That's a funny joke. I like that one.
Well, I tell you this much. This game could have went a far different way early on in that first period when the Flyers were down on that 5-on-3. And that was a huge kill and a shot in the arm that really changed the trajectory of this game.
Hey, to get a shutout in Boston is saying something.
So, after this win in Boston, hopefully the Flyers can get something going here, get themselves on track a little bit. They have not won 2 games in a row. They've lost 2 games in a row. They have not won 2 games in a row. So hopefully they can get a win streak going, and that can get some confidence in them, because these, get a 1 win here and then go on 3 straight losses. That's not a great season right there. That's not a great run that you can go on. But for the team itself to kind of get a little bit more wind in their sails, to get a little bit more, strength within themselves, and that little confidence going in there and in the locker room. Hopefully they can get a couple wins strung together. Who knows? Maybe they can shoot for the moon and get 3. I know it may sound crazy, but get 3 straight wins. That might change the feeling in that locker room. A really big morale boost of like, hey, 3 straight wins rattled off. That's a huch plus early on in the season where they've been getting their ass kicked 9 times out of 10 most of the nights.
First of all, Benny's on a roll tonight. This is my guy.
My wife says that on those special nights, not about wins or losses. It's about the production.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Benny. 1,000%, dude. No, don't be done. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
So Benny got the hat. Hey, he got the hat trick though. So you know what? I think good for you, brother. Good for you.
Hey, man. If I had my hat on the other way, I'd tip it to you, but I can't do it. It's on backwards now. A game like this, beating a team that's, a cup contender like Boston in the fashion that they did, despite, the time of possession being heavily in Boston's favor, especially in that second and third period, man, that's a building block. That's definitely a confidence builder type of game. And that's the type of team or type of game, a type of win that can really get you rolling. It's about finding the consistency. And for some teams, it's hard to find that consistency early. I mean, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Flyers found it early last year, and then they lost it towards the end. So maybe we're seeing kind of something kind of going the opposite way here. So the Flyers maybe get off to a little bit of a rough start, refine that chemistry from last year, refine that groove, and boom, you take off, and you don't have that rocky period that you had late last year. Maybe you still might. It's, you never know what's going to happen. And, we're only in October, but point being, a win like this can get a team really, really going. Shutout.
By the way, I know Brad, or was it Brad or was it Pove? I think it was Pove who threw that one out. One other thing, Emil Andre did get an assist on the Forster goal. This was his first NHL point, so congratulations to the young Emil Andre for getting his first NHL point. Hopefully, many more to come in an orange and black jersey. Just going to respond to this real quick. John, I get that you hate torts. I get it. But pull it back for a second here, brother. You can't have Jet on the team because then the ELC starts and you lose a year on him. So not a good idea. Send him back to juniors. Also on top of it, Boston wasn't sleepy. Corpy was definitely proving that they weren't sleepy, and there was plenty of golden chances. Flyers just managed to survive an onslaught from them. Simple as that. Urson was the major factor tonight for why the Flyers won.
And the defense swooped
the
those
last
loose
8
pucks
minutes,
away
though.
and got good clears too. So
That
The
as
last 8
well.
minutes, they played great defensively. The last 8 minutes,
yeah.
Right.
Boston only had 1 shot on goal in the last 8 minutes of the game. That's phenomenal. I mean, they basically Boston had the puck, but they couldn't find a passageway to get the puck to the net, and that's Boston still scores a lot of garbage goals, guys. That's how they have always played. They like to throw the puck to the net, and then everybody goes there and starts hammering on the goalie until the puck goes in the net. The Flyers were able to keep the puck from out in front of the net, and they did a good job of that.
So, good win tonight for the Flyers. A strong win. They're interviewing Urson right now, who made 24 saves tonight, and of course was batting 1,000 on the save percentage because of the shutout. So good on him. And
Nick, I just said it. Nick, we're in sync tonight, dude.
I loved that. Was such a great moment in history to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Watch that piece of human filth screw up in the shootout like that. That was nice.
I mean,
literally, I've never seen Finkelmatter walk until I saw him. So that's impressive.
It walks in Florida too, by the way.
Say what you want about him on the ice.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know.
Say what you want about Marchand on the ice, off the ice. An amazing dude. Just on the ice, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Scumbag on the ice. Off the ice, amazing person. Just putting that out there.
So is Dave Schultz.
Yeah, I'm sure you did not love Dave Schultz back in the day.
Oh, that's an understatement.
Let's see here. Benny's was saying that he's got 2 of his kids are in college. 1 is in middle school. Priz is saying that 1 is in the Air Force and his daughter's in 3rd grade. There's a gap right there. But hey, good on you, brother. And hey, your son, thanks for his service over in the Air Force.
You're not even going to mention Rocky? Where's Rocky, bro?
That Rocky's got to count too.
Rocky counts. Where's Rocky at? You actually haven't shown us anything of Rocky in a while.
I know.
Did we release him?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't remember. My brain hurts.
You have to let us know.
You got to release them back to the wild. You can't keep a wild animal cage. But I want to give a quick shout out to Jimmy Terest and the Flyers Extreme Group, always supporting us, what we're doing here at A2D Radio, always a part of the conversation. If you're a Flyers fan, you're not part of the Flyers Extreme Group on Facebook, join it right now. And it's really good group of Flyers fans that have good, honest talk and not trolling and degenerate talk. So go ahead and join that group.
Chris said, I tried. He won't leave. He's sticking around.
He's dependent on you. I got you. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that too, though. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, listen, it's better to have a squirrel in your life that you're feeding and you're taking care of than have a bunch of squirrels going through your garbage, right? Yeah, for the trade-off, I'd rather have a squirrel as a pet than have a bunch of them in my backyard going through the garbage.
I kicked him out. I punted him, everything. He keeps coming back. He's like a bad rash.
So let's get into it. What's up, Obi-Wan? How you doing, man?
Been a while, Obi-Wan. Let's go.
And what else is going on around the league? Well, for now, besides a whole bunch of some teams surprisingly terrible and other teams surprisingly good, that's definitely been going around the league. But again, it's still pretty early, so anything can change at a moment's notice around here.
Pretty much.
So let's see. Heather's saying Bob Ross had a squirrel named Peapod. That's funny.
Is that common knowledge or?
I don't know. I don't know if that is. But me, Metal Mike jumped on and said John Madden, the squirrel whisperer.
Or was Peapod just a squirrel he decided to put behind that little bush because it was looked really nice there.
Right. After all, there are
Put
no
it right there.
mistakes.
I'm just gonna put it right there, right behind the bush. It's nice to have a bush here
Alright.
once in a while.
So let's see here. Let's
Something
talk
stupid like that.
about.
Yes, Zegers will be traded. I agree.
So let's talk about the. Heather's saying, "Don't be hating on Bob, Bry. You're already making her mad. Like this is what Bry does. This is what he does."
Oh, she knows. She's a friend.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
she knows it. Okay.
Yeah, she's a friend. She
So this see Bry is he's the
He-
he's the chirper on the team. He's the shit stirrer.
he's worse than I am.
Am I? Maybe
No,
I'm the
not you, you numbskull. I said she is.
Oh, I thought you said he. It sounded
No,
like
I
you
said
said
she.
he. I didn't
No,
hear.
no.
I didn't hear
You're
the
shit
sh.
stir too.
I didn't hear the sh part of that. So you know.
Yeah, maybe you should shh and let me talk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right. Hold on.
Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to it.
Oh, you shithead.
Oh,
I got that power too, Maddie.
All right, so let's talk about it. Alexei Kol.
Sorry. Continue.
Trying to get us back on track. You decided to derail us again. Thanks.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Anyway, so
Just kidding.
Kolosov making his debut. Apparently, he made history too, as he is the first Belarusian born player to start in an NHL game. So, congratulations to him on making some history there. Unfortunately, his debut did not go exactly as planned. He looked good, though, in the first period. I mean, honestly, I know some people might be ragging on him right now, but I would say, you know what? That second period really wasn't his fault. I
A lot of
really,
fluky goals.
What just happened?
yeah. And honestly, too, the Flyers were getting outplayed in that period. They played like crap in that game. So you know what? It's not his fault. You know, you can argue Fedotov. I'll let you have that one because Fedotov hasn't looked great. You know, he's had his issues, but this one was different. This was like, no, Kolosov was trying to be the best goalie he could be that night, and unfortunately, Flyers didn't show up that night. They said, hey, we left all our game back in that Minnesota dust up, so sorry, guys. We're not here tonight.
Well, listen, when a guy takes a slap shot from the point and his stick breaks and the puck lands right on a guy right in front of the net stick,
I
that's all
know.
wrong, and he's able to bang it in the net. I mean, come on. Sometimes the hockey gods just aren't with you on some nights either. You know which goal I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah. Was that the first or second one that they scored? I think it was the first one.
I think it was the third one.
It was the third one? Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it was
the guy at the point took a shot, the stick broke.
Right.
And then the stick exploded and the puck ends up going way off goal. And somebody on the Canadiens was standing all by himself and had a whole net to shoot at and was able to put it in. I mean, you know, nobody planned for the puck to go there, including the guy who shot the puck. That puck is not on goal.
Right.
Battered lumber.
Yeah.
What's up, Greg? How you doing, brother? He's also saying agree to the poll, although they were great tonight. Right. And he also goes on to say, fuck Boston and fuck New York. Yeah, but Greg, I got to say, man, you got to be specific when it comes to hockey. Are you saying the Islanders or the Rangers? Because you could qualify for both.
Why not both?
Just saying. All right, sure, both of them.
Speaking of the Rangers, they've been outshot 42-19 in the third period, and they're only down 4-3.
Wait, 42-19, and the score's only. Who are they playing?
Washington.
Oh, okay. Only a team that's been off to a pretty nice start for themselves this year.
Well, Washington had this game circled on their calendar. I mean, they got swept by the Rangers, and the Rangers probably didn't. The Rangers did not start this game playing with the intensity that needed to be played with to to win this game. They're lucky to be in it.
Right. I mean, let's
So.
be honest. Washington and New York are heated rivals. Many, many times in the playoffs, they've had to duke it out.
Yeah, and that, after the Rangers embarrassed them last year, what do you expect to happen?
Right.
Of course they're gonna show up tonight.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Obi-Wan saying, I know Torts admits he's not a goalie guru, but him saying himself Kolosov looked good means something. I don't know what, but it's something.
No, I paid attention to those comments too because I wondered when I heard the news that Koloslov was getting the call up. I was wondering, was it due to Fedotov's poor play or a part of the deal Danny B struck to get him to come over? Because when announcing Koloslov as his starter before the game, Tortorella said that the Flyers had not gotten the performances they needed from Fedotov so far this season. Ivan hasn't played well enough. He said, we're trying to look at the situation and see where it goes. But a part of the agreement to get Koloslov to report included the Flyers telling him he would be given an opportunity at the NHL level at some point this season. Well, it only took 9 games, and we see him already after, he definitely, caught up from missing most of training camp, started 4 games with the Phantoms before being recalled, at a .329 goals against and .875 save percentage, which isn't great, but just as we saw against Montreal, making nice saves, 20 of 24 on the night, and a lot of them, like we said, of the fluky variety. So, the kid looks good, and it gives the Flyers options in goaltender right now, and competition for the right guy to step up and be the franchise goaltender for this team.
No, absolutely. The one thing that I noticed in that game against Montreal that I haven't seen quite yet with Fedotov is speed going post to post. He's much quicker. He's a little bit more agile, and I think a lot of that is because of his size. He's not a big guy. I think that's going to be something to look forward to is that agility in that. Now the other questions is how's he going to be tracking the puck? How's he going to be with his angles? Because again, granted that Lehigh isn't. I don't think Lehigh's that great of a team. So those stats can be a little flawed about what he can and can't do. But I think that if Kolosov can just continue to grow from where that Montreal game was, I think the Flyers are in good shape. I mean, I wanted 1,000% to give Fedotov his opportunity, but he's not playing good enough right now. And the Flyers, despite everything, they can't afford to have a goaltender in that situation at 27 years old play that way when you have a starter and you have 3 guys who are ready to take the next step sitting behind them.
Right.
You just don't have the time for that.
Right. And that's face backs too with Koloslov too, what he's battling right now, the language barrier. Very tough to communicate with his defensemen, both at the Lehigh Valley level and here at the NHL level. So once they get a little bit of that translation in effect and communication, you could expect to see stronger play from both Russian goaltenders and them helping each other out in terms of overcoming the language barrier.
Well, let's see here. Heather saying another unpopular opinion. Love me some Fedotov.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh like that. I'm sorry.
I thought you were about to talk about an inside joke for a second there, but anyway.
I almost did, but no, I'm not saying it.
Benny's Nation saying, no question about that. He is definitely a guy who can get post to post. Does need to make himself as big as possible, improve on the fact that he goes down too early, which he can't afford to do. True, but this has been a thing that you can improve upon with goalies, and one perfect example of that, even though he got himself removed from the team for terrible things that he did, Carter Hart had an issue with that, and the Flyers worked on it, and he stopped doing it. So that's something that can be coached and taught and, just learn some fundamentals of not going down too early, not giving the corners too soon. Yeah, it's again, young players, you're developing them. These are the kind of challenges you face, but they're all coachable. They're all coachable at the end of
Well,
the day. And yes, you are right. He has not been proven guilty, so is alleged.
So
Anyway,
I will say that I will say this. I don't want to keep battling Benny because Benny, you're my guy. At the end of the day, like the one upside to what you were saying, kid's still young. That's the upside. He's not 27 years old. He's not a guy who's entering his prime, set in his ways. He's still, like Maddie was saying, he's still very coachable at the age that he's at. And that, to me, is a bigger upside, a bigger selling point to Kolosov over Fedotov. And I agree. He definitely needs to get bigger. He needs to kind of time his drop down a little bit better. That'll come with time. I think that'll come with time in the NHL and getting some practice and some more reps. I mean, he did just get kind of thrown into that game. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
so we move on here. No, Mike, I don't want to get another goalie named Czech Manic. That would mean we would never win a Stanley Cup. Anyway,
I'm ready for the barn door in Philadelphia. It's coming. That's going to be the nickname too for
I think Czech
Bjornsson.
Manic has a twin, by the way. The goaltender for the former Arizona Coyotes, now Utah Hockey Club, Ingram.
oh,
Yeah.
Connor Ingram.
True.
He just loves to stir the pot and do stuff to annoy the hell out of the other team. You know, trying to draw penalties. I mean, like having a guy standing just outside the crease and then going out to make a save and bumping into him, so that the guy gets a 2-minute penalty for goaltender interference. You know, or coming out to get the puck and then moving so he gets checked and run over. Very Chechmanic, itch, if I must say.
All right. Let's see here. So besides Kolosov making his debut, overall the Flyers still, while they've been shaky at times, they have seemed to hopefully found something here. They did beat Minnesota, even if it was an ugly win. Yes, they didn't look great against Montreal, but they did beat Boston tonight. So with
More than
them,
made up for that game.
yeah. So with that, maybe we start to see a little bit more positives in the right direction for the Flyers. And let me just double check, see who their next opponent is, which is Thursday on Halloween. Take on St. Louis. So
Ditto to Prison's comment earlier.
So up against the Blues. Blues started out hot to begin the season. They'll be in Philadelphia, so there is that too. How do you feel on this one, boys? Do you feel like the Flyers can string together a couple wins here after coming off of a hard-fought victory in Boston?
Against
They
St.
can beat
Louis, I
St.
think they
Louis.
can.
St. Louis isn't all that.
They have played tough though.
They do. They play a physical game. They do have some speed on their side, but I mean, they don't really have. They have some good young talent. I'll give them that. You know, you just pick up Dylan Holloway and you get Philip Broberg. That's definitely an improvement for that roster for sure. I feel like the Flyers, for some reason, they played Binnington really well too. So, yeah, there's really good opportunity for the Flyers to actually be able to continue this and kind of extend it, continue building a confident team. And again, once that tends to happen, you know, there's so many opportunities that can open up for the Flyers, you know, via, you know, trade, whatever, you know, wins, losses. You know, it's very important to create that culture. And once these guys get confident and they find that consistency, this team will be fine. I think they can definitely beat St. Louis. I think it'll be a close game, though.
So, before we close this one out, Pris saying, will the Avs miss the playoffs? Agree or disagree? I disagree. I think the Avs will be in.
Disagree.
I disagree as well.
But besides that, he also says good night to you, Pove. And he also says, Viva la fuck the Blues.
Let's get it trending. You're gonna see this team go up and down, up and down. I expect, I expect them to play a tight contest, stay in the game, but ultimately, coming back home, they'll have the home ice advantage. I'm gonna say the Blues take this one on the road, unfortunately, Briz. Because they struggled. We saw that with the Wild a little bit too. They were able to overcome, and I think there's some questions in net there in Minnesota. But they're a smaller team, and it's tough playing against those bigger, tougher checking teams. That's where this team could potentially, this Flyers team can potentially struggle. So, yeah, I'd like to see another win, but I'm gonna say St. Louis takes that.
All right, then. So one last fact before we close this guy out too. Minnesota, Benny saying I'm going to say they win in OT. And I will say that with that victory against Minnesota, had Marc-Andre Fleury as their backup goaltender. It was his last time, because this is his farewell tour, that he was going to be in Philly. And I have to say, I was kind of sad that he didn't start, because it would have been nice, knowing what happened, would have been nice to get one more win on Fleury in Philly.
You know what I think it was, Maddie, is that they were also playing. They played today against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, so they had that earmarked for Fleury to start. And
well.
It did.
That's okay. If he starts in Minnesota, could always get one more victory on him on the road. I'm fine with that, as long as we beat him one more time. That's all I'm asking.
The Wild beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 5-3, and Fleury had 25 saves on 28 shots.
Oh, what a way to close out his time in the city that, I would say he made famous, but that would be wrong. But made him famous is the better way to say it. Anyway, so we thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you to everyone who chimed in tonight. All of the people that we hadn't seen before. Obviously, Heather, John, everyone. And obviously the regulars, Priz and whatnot. You guys, of course, are the lifeblood of A2D. Whether we're agreeing or disagreeing, doesn't matter. You guys are the lifeblood of this show and all the others. So thank you guys. And we hope that you guys like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. And we also would invite you to check out our sponsor, Specialized Physical Therapy, the Dr. Paul Vidal. Find him at specializedphysicaltherapy.com for solving any aches and pains that you might have causing you issues. And we will see you guys next week. And once again, I'm going to dive back into my calendar just to see, will we have a game to do some live reactions to? Well, yeah. Flyers are going to be in Carolina next Tuesday. So heading out to Raleigh.
My old stomping ground.
Where the Hurricanes await, where the bunch of jerks are ready to take on the Flyers. We'll see who wins that one.
Hey, Priz. Don't tell me how to live my life. Don't. No. If I want to send unsolicited feet pics to David Hasselhoff, I will do so.
Oh my!
Yeah, I'll send them to George Takei too. Don't tempt me. I'll do it.
Hey, listen.
Really get him to say, "Oh my." That's either ugly, so you definitely don't want to see them.
He never said that it was a positive. Oh my!
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So
yeah, I'll do it again.
So, if you get a package from Bry that
Don't
looks
open it.
like it's the shape of pictures, do not open it. And we will see you guys.
Don't worry, Rob. I didn't send one to you.
So
Yeah.
so I definitely mean it this week. Stay safe out there. Stay very safe out there, and definitely stay healthy mentally. So we will see you guys next week right here on A2DRadio.com. Peace and love, everyone.
Happy
Appreciate every
Halloween.
one of you.
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween.
Halloween.